Welcome to the revolution. Is an 18-year-old able to carry a gun? Well, if you're going to allow people to sign up for the military and to go fight on behalf of our government in wars that these 18-year-olds don't even understand, yeah, you can't like have your cake and eat it too. Like, you can't not allow an 18-year-old to protect his own home because he can't purchase a weapon, but then send him to Afghanistan to go fight the Taliban in the same breath because you think that it's okay for them to do that. Right, under your reasoning, right? If you look at the government from a large standpoint, is the government is its own, entity, right? It's its own household, right? It's a household of 300 million people, and then you break it down to the state level, right? And the state is just a smaller organization of that same family, right? That it breaks down to a smaller number, and inside that you have counties, and inside that you have cities, and inside that you have subdivisions, and inside that you have households. But what the country is just its own family entity that has decided that we're on the same team, right? And we all live around each other, so we should, be kind to each other, and we should have some rules and that type of deal, right? The government wants to be able to control weapons for its own personal reasons, to defend itself, right? As a country family, it wants to defend its property, right? It wants to be able to do that, and it does that through military action. Right now, when you break that to the state level, you have, sheriffs and the National Guard, and you have state entities that want to be able to defend itself against its enemies. And then you have households, right? You have actual physical subdivisions, your home in that subdivision, and you need to be able to do what the government does. You need to be able to do what the federal government does, what the state, they all know that they have to do it. It's the same reason Joe Biden has a security guard, armed security all around him at all times. Same thing with celebrities, same thing, all of these people that are preaching gun control are constantly surrounded by their own security who are all armed, right? But you're the peasant. You don't need that stuff. What do you have to worry about? You're not famous and like I am. You're not a political elite like me. What do you have to worry about? Right? So they want to strip your right away. But if there's no guns that are allowed, right? If they strip your right to own a handgun or to purchase without, extreme background checks where they get to say whether, you get it or not. If that's allowed, that allows them to be, when the Constitution was written, and we're getting on a little bit of a rant here. When the Constitution was written, the idea for the Second Amendment was generally not, for hunting, right? Sure, you should be able to have a gun. Right, but it's also protection of person and protection of property, and it's also protection from a totalitarian government, right? So in the same way that they want to defend themselves against other countries, they want to defend themselves against their enemies. There are bad individuals, bad countries out there who want to harm America. There are also bad people out there who want to harm the president. There are bad people who want to harm celebrities, and there's bad people who want to harm me and you. And so why should it be any different? If the government, okay, I can much rather get on the page of the government if they want to say that nobody gets guns. We don't get guns. We're gonna sign a treaty with the UN where everybody just throws all of their weapons in a circle, and we're gonna go back to the Stone Age, and we're just gonna beat the shit out of each other with sticks because that's, that we don't like guns anymore. If everybody agrees that we're on the same page and there's no longer going to be gun manufacturers, that every single gun that's ever distributed, has been rightfully returned and checked next to a box so that we know there's zero guns that are out there, we can have a conversation about that. But if the government wants to be armed, if our president wants armed security, if our celebrities get armed security, if everybody but the peasants gets to have guns and then they want to take away your right from that, no, I can't buy into that. Right, because in the same way as it's a microcosm. The family household is a microcosm of what the government is, and so to strip the family of their ability to defend themselves, it just doesn't work. Right, it's the same reason our government will never lay down their arms and just give it to the UN and say, all right, if we're all going to throw in our weapons on an individual level, why don't we do it on the government level? Well, because we all know that there's sneaky ass people out there who want to do you harm. There's countries who want to kill American soldiers. Right? We know that. We also know that there's individuals out there who are going to break into somebody's house tonight and murder somebody. It's just unfortunately the side effect of humanity is there is bad people that are out there. In that you see that in that macro level of our government. Our government is not going to just throw their guns into the middle with every other government and say, oh, all right, we're all safe. We're going to go back to using sticks to beat the shit out of each other. No, they're not going to do that. They know that the power is in the weaponry. The power is in the individual who holds the most deadly weapon, right? And so why would we as individuals give that up? All right. Anyways, side note. Everybody who goes into the military, if you're going to say 18 is too young to own a weapon, to go into a gun store and purchase an AR to protect yourself, to protect your family, to go hunting, whatever the hell you do, then you have to change the military age. You can't